Right in the middle of a chaotic battle, one man made a decision in less than 2 seconds. He looked at the grenade, not to run, not to fire back, but to do something so instinctive, so selfless, that the men who survived it spent the rest of their lives asking, what kind of training, guts, or courage will make a man do such an insane act to save his team? It is April 2004. The United States is nearly a year into the occupation of Iraq, and the Sunni insurgency is metastasizing. Roadside bombs, ambushes, and firefights are daily realities for American troops operating in the volatile Anbar Province. The city of Husaybah, pressed against the Syrian border, is a smuggling corridor and insurgent stronghold, one of the most dangerous places on the planet. Into this crucible, the Marine Corps has sent some of its finest. Among them is a 22-year-old corporal from Scio, New York, population 1,800, named Jason Lee Dunham. He has his mother's warmth, his father's sense of duty, a smile that can light up a forward operating base, and a competitive fire that his high school basketball teammates knew better than to underestimate. He joined the Marine Corps in the year 2000, before September 11th, before the wars, because it was the hardest thing he could find to do. By 2004, he is a squad leader, responsible for 12 Marines in 4th Platoon, Company K, 3rd Battalion, 7th Marines. On April 14th, everything that made Jason Dunham who he was would be put to the ultimate test, and the world would never be the same. Before we go any further, if this story is already moving you, hit that subscribe button right now. We are on a mission to reach 5,000 subscribers before the end of March, and every single one of you gets a personal shout-out when we hit that milestone. Drop a comment and tell us, where in the world are you watching from? Because what happens next in Jason's story is something no training manual could have predicted, and no Marine who witnessed it has ever fully recovered from. The hills around Scio, New York, are the kind that turn amber in October and stay frozen in January. It's the kind of small town where everybody knows your name, your father's name, and your grandfather's name, where character isn't just encouraged, it's expected. Dan Dunham served in the Air Force. Deb Dunham stood in front of classrooms teaching children to read. They raised 4 kids with firm values and a clear understanding. In this family, you show up, you work hard, and you take care of the people beside you. Jason absorbed all of it. On the basketball court, he wasn't just competitive, he was the first one to shake the opposing team's hands after the game. His mother would later remember his quiet sense of kindness as the quality she treasured most. He'd always root for the underdog. He'd always help the little guy. Even then, something in Jason Dunham was drawn to protection. The summer before his senior year, Jason and his father sat in the living room and talked about the future. College wasn't a financial option for the family. The military was. His father, the Air Force veteran, laid out the case. Jason listened. Then he made his choice. Not the Air Force, not the Army, the Marine Corps, because it was the hardest. He told his dad, with that mischievous sparkle his mother always described, "I work in the men's department of the military," and he grinned. He joined in 2000. He had no idea what was coming for the world or for him, but the Marine Corps had exactly the kind of young man it was looking for, and over the next 4 years, they would sharpen him into something extraordinary. By 2004, Corporal Dunham was leading a rifle squad in one of the most lethal corners of the Iraq War. But the question no training manual could answer was, what would he do when the worst possible moment arrived? The radio crackles. Rocket-propelled grenade fire, small arms fire, 2 kilometers to the west. The battalion commander's convoy has been ambushed on the road to Camp Husaybah, and 4th Platoon is being dispatched immediately to investigate and support. Corporal Dunham doesn't wait. He leads his squad toward the engagement,
moving through narrow streets where every doorway could conceal a threat and every window is a potential gun barrel. His Marines follow him without hesitation. That's what you do when your squad leader is Corporal Dunham. Then, movement. A column of 7 Iraqi vehicles trying to slip away from the scene of the ambush. Dunham's squad moves to intercept. The vehicles are stopped. The Marines fan out to search. And then, the driver of a white Toyota Land Cruiser makes his move. The man lunges from the vehicle. Dunham, the closest Marine, reacts instantly. He seizes the insurgent and drives him to the ground. Hand to hand, a real fight, the kind you don't read about in press releases. On the ground, wrestling, Dunham catches a glimpse of something: the insurgent's hands.
The shout tears through the air. In the same fraction of a second, the insurgent releases a Mills 36M hand grenade. It hits the ground. Here is where time slows. Now consider this. Just weeks before this moment, Dunham had been sitting in a forward outpost with 2 other Marines, Second Lieutenant Brian Bull Robinson and Staff Sergeant John Ferguson. The conversation, as it often does among men who live with death as a daily companion, had turned philosophical. What would you do if a grenade dropped at your feet? Lieutenant Robinson's theory: go face down on the grenade, hold it between your forearms. The ceramic plate in your flak vest might protect your vitals. You'd lose your arms, but you'd live. Dunham had a different idea. He said, "I'll bet a Kevlar would stop it. Cover the grenade with your helmet, contain the blast." Staff Sergeant Ferguson had shaken his head. "No, it'll still mess you up." It had been idle talk, the kind of theoretical conversation that makes the waiting easier. Except it wasn't idle anymore. In the dirt of a Husaybah street, with 2 of his Marines within lethal range of that grenade, Corporal Jason L. Dunham pulled off his Kevlar helmet. He placed it over the grenade, and he pressed his body down on top of it. The grenade detonated. Lance Corporals William Hampton and Kelly Miller were struck by fragments. They survived. The men who later found the shredded, blown-apart remains of Dunham's Kevlar helmet, destroyed from the inside, understood immediately what had happened. Their corporal had turned his body into a shield. Jason Dunham was still alive, barely. Gravely wounded, he was evacuated immediately, first to Bravo Surgical in Al-Qaim, then to Landstuhl Regional Medical Center in Germany, then to Bethesda Naval Hospital in Maryland, where his parents rushed to be at his side. For 8 days, machines kept Jason Dunham breathing. He had discussed this with his father before deployment. He had even put it in writing. If something happened, he did not want to be kept alive by machines. His father, Dan, would make the call. On April 22, 2004, Dan and Deb Dunham said goodbye to their son. He was 22 years old. Stop for a moment. A 22-year-old kid from a town of 1,800 people covered a live grenade with his helmet and his body to save the men beside him. He had actually thought about this moment weeks earlier. He had a theory, and when the moment came, he executed it. Tell us in the comments, could you have done what Jason did? Was it training, instinct, or something greater? And share this story with someone who needs to hear it today. These men deserve to be remembered. The men who survived called it simply the gift. Hampton and Miller, the 2 Marines closest to the blast, carried the knowledge of what Jason had done for them every single day after. Wall Street Journal reporter Michael M. Phillips, who covered Dunham's story in 2004 and wrote the biography The Gift of Valor in 2005, documented how the survivors of that moment felt compelled to live their lives in a way that honored the sacrifice made on their behalf, to be worthy of the gift. That kind of weight, the weight of someone else's life laid down for yours, is something no civilian experience can fully replicate or prepare a person for. On January 11, 2007,
President George W. Bush stood in the East Room of the White House and posthumously awarded Corporal Jason L. Dunham the Medal of Honor, the first Marine to receive the nation's highest military honor for valor in combat since the Vietnam War. Dan and Deb Dunham accepted the medal. Two parents who had raised a boy of strong timber, standing in the most formal room in American government, receiving the country's acknowledgement of what their son had given. In her own words, Deb Dunham wrote of her son after receiving the Medal of Honor. Jason received the Medal of Honor for sacrificing himself to save others. What he did is great, but my son would have said, "Ura, let's go have a beer." There was always one more challenge for him to find and meet in his life. She also wrote to the families of men and women still deployed, "Take the phone calls, send the letters and the care packages. They know you're scared, but they don't need to go through two types of war." A mother, not a politician, offering wisdom born from the most profound loss a parent can know. Her family has found footing, as families of the fallen often do, in faith. The biblical verse from the Gospel of John speaks directly to what Jason did. "Greater love hath no man than this, that a man lay down his life for his friends." John 15:13. It is inscribed in memory of many warriors. For the Dunhams, it is the verse that most accurately describes their son. Today, the USS Jason Dunham bears his name and sails in his honor. Schools bear his name. The Marine Corps invokes his name when teaching young recruits what selfless service means. He was 22 years old. He had a mischievous sparkle in his eye, a smile that could light up a room, and a mother who still misses him every single day. We keep returning to the question because it matters, because the answer might tell us something about ourselves. Jason Dunham had quite literally rehearsed this decision, not on a training ground, but in a theoretical conversation with fellow Marines weeks before the moment arrived. His mind had already done the math. When the grenade hit the ground, his body simply executed what his character had already decided. And that is the deepest answer to the question. It wasn't a random flash of heroism. It was the product of who Jason Dunham was. A boy raised to protect the little guy, sharpened by the Marine Corps into a leader, and driven by a love for the men beside him that overrode every survival instinct he possessed. Heroism, at its most essential, is not the absence of fear. It is the presence of something stronger than fear. Call it training, call it instinct, call it love. In Jason Dunham's case, it was all three, woven together so tightly that when the moment demanded them, they responded as one. The men who survived carry the gift. The family carries the loss. The Marine Corps carries the legend. And the rest of us, those of us who sit safely in our homes, far from the heat and the dust and the metallic smell of danger, carry the obligation to remember. Corporal Jason Lee Dunham, November 10, 1981, April 22, 2004. He gave his last full measure so that 2 Marines could go home. And in doing so, he left behind a legacy that no grenade, no war, and no passage of time will ever fully destroy. Thank you for staying until the end. Stories like Jason's are why this channel exists. Ordinary people doing extraordinary things. Not because the cameras were rolling, not because anyone was watching, but because the person next to them needed them to. If that moves you, share this story, post it, send it to a friend, show it to your kids. These veterans deserve to be remembered far beyond these screens. Subscribe for a new story every week. Hit like if Jason's story stayed with you, and drop your location in the comments. We want to know where in the world the gift is being heard today. Next time, another Marine, another grenade, another act of valor that defied belief. The story of Lance Corporal William Kyle Carpenter, the youngest Marine ever to receive the Medal of Honor. Don't miss it.